Greetings and blessings, beautiful people. Today we're making croissants. They are French, buttery, sweet, flaky pastries. I learned how to do this in my late teens. Long story, but stick around. I'll share that with you shortly. This is one special recipe that brings back such fond, warm, and fuzzy memories, which I have shared with you in my community section. So if you haven't had a chance to see it yet, take a moment after watching this video and go check it out. You will learn a thing or two about me and my past, which I'm pretty sure you will love. So what I've done so far is combine my dry active yeast and some lukewarm water, whisked it together and covered it with a kitchen towel and set it aside at room temperature for it to bloom. In the meantime, I've combined my flour, my sugar, and then my salt, and now I'm just whisking it together to combine it evenly, and then we're going to begin forming our dough. We will be needing our dough hook attachment today, and start on a very low speed setting, and then gently pour in your yeast mixture which is done blooming. Then you're going to add 1 whole egg, so the yolk and the white. And then you're going to also include 1 egg yolk, okay? And then you're going to pour that in to the dough that's being mixed so that the egg gets incorporated into the dough evenly. Now, croissants are a pastry that is layered with thin sheets of butter in between thin sheets of yeast leavened dough. So it bakes really nice and flaky and is absolutely delicious. Now what we're doing is incorporating our butter. And the best time to incorporate the batter is when you have already formed a little bit of gluten. And that's what's going to help our dough to be nice, stretchy, smooth, and also flaky in the end, all right? So we incorporate the batter little by little and increase the speed of the mixer, and that will incorporate the batter very evenly. Done. We mixed it for about 10 minutes after adding the butter to it. So now our dough is smooth, it is stretchy, and it is also soft. I am just giving it a quick knead, and then I'm going to split it up into 2 equal parts because I am making croissants 2 ways today. I am sharing with you on this day the traditional way of making croissants, and then on a later date I will share with you my way, an easier way, and also a quicker way to make croissants at home with no hassle at all. So I split it into 2 equal parts and then also form them into the spheres, and then I cover it with a damp kitchen cloth and give it about 5 minutes at room temperature just for the gluten to loosen up a little bit because it's gotten really tight and is starting to resist me. So our dough is formed, and our dough in French culinary terminology is named detrempe. So our detrempe is ready. Now we're going to work on our beurage. Beurage is the butter that will be encapsulated into the detrempe. I have spelled everything out accurately in the description box. So if you are looking for improving your French culinary terminology, please check out the description box where you'll also find all the ingredients listed with their accurate measurements. All right, so I have 2 sticks of butter, which I am now spreading out on wax paper into a square that is evenly spread out to about 1/4 of an inch thickness. So now I have folded the wax paper into a square, and then with the aid of my rolling pin, I use it to force the butter to conform into that square shape. Now I'm taking one of the dough and I'm just going to store it in the fridge so it cools down, and it also prevents it from rising as I work on the other dough. So now we're forming our detrempe, right? So what we want to do here is roll out the detrempe into a square that's twice the size of your beurage, okay, of the batter. Now, after you form your butter into a square, what you want to do is place it in the fridge so that it doesn't melt. And you want it to be a little bit solid
before you encapsulate it, as I'm doing right now. So my day-trompe is square, and it is twice the size of the beurage, the butter. Okay, so I envelope it into the rolled out dough, just like so. And now I'm going to use my rolling pin and just kind of seal it. Okay, now I'm also going to use a rolling pin to roll the butter out so that it spreads out all the way into the corners of the dough. Now that I have done that, I cover it with a kitchen towel and place it in the fridge just so it can cool down. Now, that is the thing with making croissants. You do not want your yeast leavened dough to begin rising while you're trying to form the thin layers of dough and butter. Okay, so you have to go back and forth into the fridge while you're doing that. Also, when the butter starts melting, it is really hard to work with the dough, so you want to take it back to the fridge, then bring it back out, and then roll it out. So I put it in the fridge for about 10 minutes, that's all. Then I bring it out, and then I roll it out again, and this time I got a rectangle, and then I fold it into 3. All right, and then I take it back to the fridge. This time it stayed in the fridge for about 30 minutes. So now the batter has solidified again. The dough is not rising, even though it has yeast in it, because cold environments prevent proofing activity, okay? So yes, we take it out of the fridge, and now we're going to roll it out again. As we're doing this back and forth thing with the refrigerator and then rolling out business, it is forming the thin layers of butter in between the thin layers of the detrempe or the dough. Okay, so now that is all done. I have rolled it out a 3rd time. Now I'm cutting it up into triangles with 2 long equal sides. Okay, so you can call them your isosceles triangles. All right, now that's formed, I'm now going to roll it from the base of the triangle all the way to the apex, and you want your croissants to now lay on the apex, okay, so that when it starts to proof, it doesn't roll out or the apex doesn't kind of lift up. All right, just like so. Done. Now we're going to keep the croissants in a warm environment to encourage proofing activity so that the croissants can now rise, so the yeast can begin to work. I did that for about an hour in my oven with the oven light on, so it created just enough warmth to prevent the butter from melting and leaking out. So that is very important. You can also keep it on your kitchen counter at room temperature, and it might take a little longer, but it gets really tricky, so you do not want your proofing environment to be too warm, otherwise the butter will leak out. Once that was done, we coated it with our glaze, just 1 egg, and I whisked in a splash of milk, whisked it in, and then just coated it with it. It went back into the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and I baked it for 20 minutes, and just look at those layers. Way better than store-bought. Yes, it should be chewy, it should be buttery, it should be flaky, and it should be layered, and it should be absolutely decadent. Friends, it is chop time. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two and are inspired to try this recipe. Hope to see you pretty soon on my next one, where I will be sharing with you my way, quick, easy way of making homemade croissants that will be layered and buttery just like this one. Make it a great day and have fun, especially in that kitchen.
Thank you, beautiful person, for watching the video all the way to the end. Kindly leave me a comment and subscribe down below, and don't forget to share the video as well. Also, watch more videos. It is chop time, and here in Anava's kitchen, chop time is always yes, friends. So pull up a chair. We are all friends and family here.